The US, in the meantime, is once again warning Syria that it could face an armed intervention. America's top military officer warned the Pentagon is prepared to act militarily if and when it is asked to. Let's talk to Haitham al-Sibahi. He's a member of the Syrian Social Club and political activist, joining me live there in London. Well, Syrian rebels have already called for their foreign supporters to carry out strikes against Assad without the approval of the UN Security Council. In light of the latest comments from the US, how likely are we to see military intervention now?
Well, good evening to you and to your viewers. First of all, I mean, all these talks, this incitement came because of the Syrian crisis and what's happened in Al-Hula. I don't think now there is quite a lot of incitement. They fabricated these massacres. I'm not saying the massacres didn't take place, but yes, it took place in an area where it's completely under the control of those gunmen and what is so-called rebel or so-called Syrian Free Army. We know there is other groups who has alliance to jihadists, to Salafists, to Al-Qaeda maybe, but and they are quite. I mean, they are supplied with arms and money. They have borders open with Lebanon. They have borders open with Turkey. So they're doing whatever they want, coming in and going out, and they're trying to. Raise the pressure on Syria is before the visit of Kofi Annan. So the situation in Syria, it's we seen this type of situation before the Security Council meeting when Russia and China used the veto. We've seen it in every meeting it takes place, or what's so-called the Friends of Syria, or before with the Arab League. They push to those massacres just for incitement and to turn people against the Syrian government and to turn the public opinion or the international public opinion.
But nevertheless, what people are so shocked by is who would be motivated to kill innocent women and children. Obviously, a lot of foreign interest in perhaps deposing Assad and pursuing the rebels' cause, but to actually involve innocent women and children, who would be behind that?
Well, there is some of those rebels like the Salafists and the jihadists or Al-Qaeda. They don't have a code of conduct. They do anything just to push the area. Let's say, I mean,
is this sectarian then? Is this sectarian grounds, capitalising on the unrest there in Syria in order to pursue their sectarian interests?
Well, yes, it is sectarian because they've been they put in some incitement for sectarian killing and civil war for not now. I mean, a few months ago. Now is they start talking about different Sunnis and Alawis and all this, and of course they go and they kill the Sunnis. So just to blame, and they say Alawis and they say other sectors involved, the Christian and also and the army. I mean. The army is nowhere near that area.
So this is civil war now,
they are pushing for sectarian.
Are we talking about civil war now, in effect?
No, there is no civil war. There will not be civil war for a simple reason. There is this takfiris and jihadis, which they are criminals, and some of them coming from outside. They are in one side, and there is the supporter of the Syrian government, who they back the Syrian government till now. The supporters of the Syrian government, they are not going to pick up arms and fight because they believe in law and order, and they believe there is an army and there is a security service and a police. Who has to protect them? And when the army and the security service doing their job, the supporters are civilians. They obey law and order. They are not going to get involved in arms. So it's not going to be a civil war.
Haitham, let me just ask you though, the rebels are saying that the UN-backed peace plan is dead. Would you agree with that? And if that is the case, what's next for the country?
No, Kofi Annan plan is not dead. The Syrian Authority and the Syrian government putting all its effort. The people on the ground in Syria, they want Mr. Kofi Annan plan to succeed because they had enough. They had enough. But for Mr. Kofi Annan to succeed, they have to. Mr. Annan himself, he has to talk to Turkey, talk to Saudi Arabia, talk to Qatar, and talk to some rebels in Lebanon to stop this type of killing and crimes. They occur on the Syrian soil every day. He has to talk to others and bring them into the table. Mr. Kofi Annan plan, or the United Nations Security Council plan, is for the rebels to lay the arm and to act under the Syrian authority, under sovereignty of Syria. So for the dialogue to take place, not to fight. They have broke the ceasefire more than 4,500 times till now. They're killing every day, they're shelling every day, and the Syrian army has to react to some of this shelling and some of those attacks.
Haitham Al-Zibahi, thank you very much for your thoughts. It's very interesting to get your perspective on this. Member of the Syrian Social Club and also a political activist. Thank you for joining us with your thoughts there in London.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And